Hello and welcome to the digital platform of Sadhan Chandra Mohabhidyalay. I, Gautam Maji, Assistant Professor as well as head of the Department of English of Sadhan Chandra Mohabhidyalay, happy to bring another session for you. This is session number 17. And as you know, the Department of English has been organizing this special lecture series since May. And we're very happy that we have got several eminent speakers on our digital platform. Today also, we're very lucky and fortunate to have another eminent speaker on our digital platform. Today is a very special day for all Indians. Today is the eve of our 74th Independence Day. And on this very special day, we're going to talk about a very special topic, that is research. Fruitful and significant research in different fields can take any nation to the very prominent place in international arena. But the question is how to initiate a research. This is a very important question in academia. To get the answer of this question, we have got a very eminent speaker. And we're fortunate to get him on our digital platform. He is Dr. Debaprasad Bandyopadhyay from St. Petersburg State University. First, I would like to welcome our honorable speaker on our digital platform. Sir, welcome to our digital platform.
Thank you. Good evening.
And thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation.
It's my pleasure to deliver a lecture on this subject, and I am thanking the authorities, dignitaries of Sadhan Chandra Mohabhidyalay, and also you to invite me for such discussion. I'm calling this discussion instead of lecture because I expect question answer session. Some questions on this topic. It's on designing the research. So I am delivering this lecture for those who are initiating, just initiators, for those who are just initiating a research on some topic. So what will be that topic? May I start, Dr. Maji?
No, sir. Before you start, I would like to say sir's academic works with all of you. This is very so vast works that he has done. So I would like to share with all of you this thing. Debaprasad Bandyopadhyay, through his academic journey in the realm of institutionalized academics, did 27 different types of works, which are somewhere different from the earlier paradigms. Or one might say that those works are not only mere reproductions of his inherited institutionalized cultural capital or a mimicry of a colonially imposed model that leads to intellectual anorexia, or rather a type falsification of earlier paradigms. However, that might be not only a lofty claim, that it also hid the fact that all our information and knowledge are socially accumulated knowledge. That was, it is matter of regret, posed as private property through the sign, and the wisdom is rarely available. Bandyopadhyay's works and projects are the products of social milieu. Bandyopadhyay is a social subaltern public sphere academician who avoids the technical intelligentsia, the followers of Sahib's models, and they are not committed to the persons who are accommodating surplus work time to them by performing surplus labor, or inorganic intellectuals, and thus fails to be a part of academic tribe and its subsequent socialization process. Of course, that socialization process does not lead to legendary Socratic dialogue. Sorry. He is also a political activist, though he has not affiliated to any political parties, as he was always talking about the corporatization of political parties within the money sign-based democratic system. He is a regular participant in TV and radio talk shows and documentary films on socio-political, psychological, linguistic, environmental and economic issues. He is also part of parallel academics as it was found in West Bengal's Little Magazine movement, though that was not counted as a part of his academic pursuit by his parent institute. Uh, his parent institute justifiably doesn't believe in the domain of parallel academics as this unorganized sector does not does not directly contribute in the transactions of formal organized print capitalist enemy paper publication. Though the dissemination of knowledge is also observed in this space of this parallel academics, all these writings in public sphere simultaneously influence the classroom discourse, and some of them are translated into English, French, and Italian. Not only that, Bandyopadhyay also sought engagement with the people who, by supplying their surplus labor, are sustaining his livelihood. Bandyopadhyay, a linguist by training and PhD holder, a junior lecturer in an autonomous central government institute in India, tries his best for those whom he has received and is receiving the manifestation of surplus labor by executing some self-funded projects on economic issues in West Bengal, India. He has 27 research works and other important works. So now I would like to welcome our honorable speaker to commence his insightful lecture. Sir,
Yes, my network was disrupted. Sorry for that inconvenience, technical inconvenience.
so once again, I would like to welcome on this digital platform, and you may commence your lecture. And all the participants, if you have any question, you can drop your question in the comment box. And after his insightful lecture, I will get back to him with these questions. So, sir,
Okay.
now the session is yours.
In fact, what Mr. Maji has said, it is in fact an introduction for uh, research methodology, because he said many things regarding technical intelligentsia, inorganic intellectual, paradigm. These type of technical terms are part of the research. But for the convenience of the student, I am, for initiators only, I will represent the basic design of research. Research. This term instigates the searching for something. What are we searching? Whatever discipline may be, one must, first of all, search the problem within their discipline. What are the problems within their subject? One must search for that. This is, Mr. Majib, may you please show the PowerPoint so that it will be convenient for student to understand. Next. First question, identifying the problem. Do you have any problem in your discipline? With your discipline? Do you have any question? In Bharatiya Darshana, it is called Pariprashna. Pariprashna is important here to initiate a research. This is the first step of research work. So, if you have any question, if you have any problem within your subject, please place it. You may have many questions, and that question will be technically termed as your hypothesis for starting your research. After posing the problem question, this is the first step. You then start for literature survey. The next one. You have to search now the relevance of question. Relevance of question means you have to search it before anyone has raised such question, raised such problems before you. But how do you know it? For it, search it with keywords in physical library. You have to go to the physical library for searching all these things. This is the first step. You search it in virtual library also. You may use Google and another search engines. Google Scholar, it is a very important site where you will find that whoever did some research on this topic. Google Scholar. Apart from Google Scholar, there is another site, Google Books, or any other relevant website. Search it. Apart from physical library, you have now the opportunity to search in the virtual library. If you find that some scholars have raised this problem or questions as posed by you, then enlist those names in your books. And there is a certain method, for enlisting books. We call it bibliography. Start it now. If anyone before you did this work with different kind of methodology, don't worry. Just enlist their work. But when you try to build up a bibliography, you have to follow style sheets. That is another important thing to follow. Different journals in the realm of academocracy, they follow different kind of style sheets. The standard style sheets, there are 2 or 3 style sheets. They are standardized all over the world. When you are sending journal papers to some journal, you see that they have given specific instruction for writing a paper, how to the names of the other scholars who did same type of work as you are doing. You may follow MLA style sheet. It is easily available in PDF form, the 8th edition available at Google. Harvard style sheet or Cambridge style sheet or any other convenient style sheet. Journals are following their own method of putting scholars' name in different way and scholars' works also. So you have to follow only one style sheet. My suggestion is to follow the MLA style sheet. When you are enlisting the names of the books or journal papers or something else, start it. It is the first and foremost thing you have to do for solving your problem question. Moreover, if you do not find anyone who did same work or who have dealt with the same question as you have posed, there is no problem. First of all, you have to find differences with yourself and other works. These differences, you have to review. For finding out these differences, you have to review the paper, that particular paper in which the same question was addressed, or same problem was addressed, or same hypothesis was addressed. You have to review that work. And after scrutinizing all this work, it is called review of the previous works. You have to write reviews for those works. After writing these reviews, you must find out the difference between you and them. If you find difference or differences, you must then, only then, you must start your new research work. So, after scrutinizing, after reviewing all the other papers, you are now rich in the domain which is technically called as departure point. Departure point is an important term here. You are departing from earlier works or earlier paradigms. You have to articulate your departure point clearly and transparently. After reviewing and scrutinizing all those papers which have been done by other researchers. So, and if you don't find anyone who has any work before you, there is if there is no work before you, that is also fine. Your problem will be stamped as a novel one. So you have to scrutinize or review the work. I am repeating it for better understanding of the problem. Now the third part, next one. Next slide. Third one is very crucial for us and it needs a special attention. No, Gautam, please switch over to 3, research methodology now. Yes, thank you. This needs a special attention in research methodology. In case of research methodology, you have to learn 3 things particularly, or altogether we can say only one thing, but for convenience I am dividing it in 3 parts. Number 1, philosophy of sciences, and number 2, history of sciences, and thirdly, science studies. It's a new domain in the context of epistemology, this science studies. You have to understand the method of researching. There are many methods. You have to learn, number 1, source of knowledge. What are the sources of knowledge? Is it sense perception or our inner domain? These are the question. Or there are some chemical reactions in between inner domain and the outside world. Sense datum, sense perception. So how do we get our knowledge? What are the sources of knowledge? These are the basic questions in case of philosophy of science. The second thing philosophy of science addresses is the subject of knowledge. How do I understand the outside world? Am I within quote, perceiving the things as it is, or things or objects as something different from our perception? These are under the subject of knowledge. And there is also a logic for understanding the outside world, how to infer from one question, one proposition to another. This method of inferences are divided into 2 parts, inductive and deductive, and there are other methods also. So inductive and deductive are popular enough because in empirical research means who are depending on sense perceptions only observations, experiments. These are empirical research. So in case of empirical research, we have to know the data. After collecting data, we have to put it in observation with experiments, and then we have to generalize the whole idea. But in case of deductive research or rationalistic deductive research, there are different methods for deductivism. You need imagination for that. In a different session, I will discuss all these things. As I am now representing only the design of research, I am just mentioning it in a sweeping speed that these are necessary to know how do we get knowledge, how do we place our truth claims in the realm of academiocracy. What is truth really? These are the questions addressed by philosophy of science. And science studies is a critical study of science as a community. How do they place their truth claims after researching it in laboratory on or in brains imagination? So this type of imagination is also necessary in case of research works, especially wild guess. How do you guess something? Wild guess, for example, I am showing one deductive reasoning because you are familiar with inductive reasoning. You are surveying crows, that crows are black. So you are generalizing it after the census of crows. You are generalizing it as all blacks or crows are black. This type of research are called empirical research. But on the other hand, there is a different type of research. For example, I am jumping from a monument along with a mirror. I am reflecting in the mirror. So at that time, which will be the faster, the mirror, my image, or me? The speed is to be imagined and calculated with mathematical tools. This type of researches are called deductive research. Without attending the experiment, I can imagine a situation, a type of brainstorming. It is also called thought experiment. These type of experiments are also allowed. This type of deductive reasoning or rationalistic thinking is also allowed in research work, apart from the empirical research. And thirdly, we have to learn the history of science. How different types of discoveries and inventions are made before us. You have already done it. When you are surveying the literature of earlier works, in case of your problem question, you are initiated in the history of science. In case of all these trees, I am presenting a bibliography for your convenience. This bibliography shows that, please note that I have followed the on the basis of priority. Alphabetically listed, you see that a Bernal B, F, H, K, L, N. This alphabetical listing is necessary when you are doing your bibliographical work. And please note that in the case of bibliography, we are mentioning the name of the book first. For example, Bernal J.D., surname first, and then the name of the author with the initials. Science in history, it is written in italics. This is called style sheet. And then place of publication, Bhopal, colon, Ekalabya. These punctuation marks are very much important. And 2012, this is the publication date. The edition which I am using, I must write that publication date. This is the overall format. In case of journal papers, you don't have to write the title of the paper in italics. You put it within inverted commas. So, on the basis of priority, I must say that one researcher or initiator must start with Kuhn's book, The Structure of Scientific Revolution. It is a must-read book for all. Whoever is doing research in any discipline. Kuhn is from physics. His basic discipline was physics. And Kuhn, The Structure of Scientific Revolution is a revolutionary book for researchers. Then you have to read, after reading Kuhn, Popper's book. Just find it out in the bibliography. In Popper's book, you will find the logic of scientific discovery. You have to understand how logic is playing a role in case of different researches. So you have to read also Copy's book, Logic. It's a basic book on logic, how to frame a hypothesis. He wrote many things there. Apart from deduction, he introduced also inductive method, where you find hypothesis formation, what is ad hoc hypothesis, what is inductive leap, what is hasty generalization, what are the fallacies for day-to-day life when we are using ordinary language, what are the fallacious statements. We have to understand that to write a text or to write a research paper or a thesis, all we have to understand. And I am suggesting another book. It is after Popper. You can read it. This is Feyerabend, Against Method. He introduced pluralistic methodology for deciphering some problems. I am just eavesdropping because it needs too many time, much time for discussing all these books and other such things. You have to read carefully for a startup. And then history of science. My suggestion is J.D. Bernal's famous book, Science in History. It is also available in different languages apart from English. Science in History and Michel Foucault's The Order of Things and Archaeology of Sciences. These are the books you have to read carefully, and you can build your own notion. Even you can challenge all these books with your new questions. Then your research will come under the umbrella of philosophy of science. Even there is a book by Ashish Nandi. This is Science, Violence and Hegemony. It is a very good book. It is a collection of essays. Ashish Nandi edited that book's collection of essays. Here you will find many problems with our contemporary life and problems caused by the scientific community. Even Latour's Laboratory Life. All these books are necessary for the problems of scienticism or scientific research. Here in Latour's book, I wish to emphasize a term, the construction of scientific facts. How facts are constructed, manipulated, and simulated. In case of COVID also, now within which we are now just living, the construction of scientific facts are presented differently in different media channels. You can see different types of truth claims in different medias, how to handle all those truth claims at once. You can see it in Latu's books, Laboratory Life. Uh, um, so, after reading all these books, you can choose one or two methodologies for your research work. So it is a tiresome work to read all these things with bibliographical details, uh, but you have to do it. There is no other way. If you want to find your departure point from the earlier stand, these are necessary. Now, after finishing all these, you will try to, by deploying the methodological tools, you can solve the problem, question raised by yourself with your possible solution, either in a form of, you can represent your possible solution either in a form of paper to be published in a peer-reviewed index journal. This is mandatory. Peer-reviewed index journal, you have to publish it. Or you can do another thing. You can represent it in a form of thesis or a book that must be divided into chapters with sections and subsections. Even in ML style sheet, you will find, or in Cambridge style sheet, there are different types of style for representing sections and subsections, chapters and subchapters, how to divide them, how to put titles on the sections and subsections. It is suggested that one must write the first chapter or introduction after completing all these things. Because remember that preface is always, and next one, chapterization. Preface is always a postface. In Derrida's of grammatology, there is a preface and it is posed as postface because after completing all these paraphernalia, we are ready to write in retrospection that we have done this by deploying this type of methodology. When I am researching, it is an unknown path, totally an unknown path. We do not know what to do, what we are doing. It is almost a madman's work in case of new discovery or invention. Concentrating on your problem question in different journals by maintaining a thread. Maintaining a thread means you have to choose a theme, not many themes. It will be disruption. It will be a disruption for your work. So choose only one theme, maintain your thread, and publish it in different journals, your chapters and subchapters. In peer-reviewed journal, you must publish it. After finishing that, you can bind it in a form, all these papers, in a form of a book or thesis. You can publish this book directly, or you can submit it for PhD degree if you are already registered under supervisor or supervisors. Or I will tell you a new thing. It is unknown to many of us, but it's a very good thing. Or you can send it to a university of your choice for getting a PhD degree. This is popularly known as PhD by publication. This PhD by publication, I wish to emphasize on this because there are so many problems for registering in a university nowadays. You need money, you need patron-client relationship, and different type of extracurricular problems. To avoid all this, if you have courage and confidence to write a new thing, new papers on a topic, send it to journals. And after publication, journal will send you some reviews by eminent scholars. This review will help you to enrich your work. So after publishing 5 or 6 papers, you can uh, gather all this paper and amalgamate it in a form of book with postface, preface, acknowledgement, introduction, epilogue, prologue, and other such things. So something in between papers to form a book with bibliography, with footnotes and other such things, and you can send it to 500 plus universities for consideration of a PhD degree. Now, what is PhD in case of research? Research is far more important than degree, I think so. It is my personal view. PhD, the full form is Doctorate in Philosophy. What is missing in the realm of academiocracy nowadays? Philosophy is totally missing. I have seen so many theses which are so mundane. I dare to mention all these things. Even in sarcasm, our colleagues are mentioning some thesis headlines, thesis titles. These are like this. In Tagore's novel, what are the color of clothes of the heroines? This type of research is useless research, or only collecting data or corpus. This type of research are not research. It can be done by anyone, collecting data and representing them. But you need epistemological intervention, epistemological understanding of your subject, and intellectual interpretation of any text, anything around your habitat. So, if philosophy is missing, many are lamenting for this because even in Godard's film, we have seen that philosophers are endangered species. Philosophy is deleted due to technocracy. Technocracy or technocratic, we are living within the technocratic society. Technocracy is immune in a way that viruses of philosophy can't penetrate that domain. So sorry for the interruption. Without philosophy, you can't do anything. Philosophy is the mother of all subjects. But nowadays, there is a trend that we can do without philosophy. Philosophy, you will not find this subject in private universities and private colleges. Even IGNOU is deleted philosophy. But we need philosophy, remembering that we are getting a doctorate degree in philosophy. So the last question, almost I have covered 40 minutes. The last question, last a crucial question, and this is my personal question. we are now uh, uh, in the context of neoliberal economy, we have many sufferings. So I request all the initiators to ask a self-reflexive question. Some ethical question are to be put here to understand. Ask yourself, can my research endeavor uh, solve the human or non-human sufferings? Does it answer my suffering, my predicament, my pains, or the misery of the human beings? This is my engagement with my habitat. Habitat includes both human and non-human. So you can omit this. You can do without this. You can do research without this question. But for me, it is very much important. We can't spare time now. We are living within a crisis. That crisis, it is my obsession. I am repeating this, that this is climate crisis. We are the victims of the consequences of anthropogenic global heating. So if my research can't answer the sufferings, pains of the humanity and ruthless torture on them by super rich, I don't think we can't spare our time in a research which is far from the suffering human being. Thank you very much. I am waiting for question, Mr. Maji. If there is there are questions, you can ask me.
Sir, thank you very much for this wonderful session. We have few questions. So I'm taking the question on the screen.
I'll try to read it. It is very
Okay,
small.
I'm reading out for you, sir. Along with inductive and deductive, abduction is also there. Please elaborate it if possible.
A differentiation for elaborating it. Just now I am citing some instances of abduction, or especially Prabal Dasgupta and me name it as extraction. In fact, as a splash, as a spark. No one knows the coherence of neurons at the time of this type of spark. We are discovering or inventing something. This type of spark, and without knowing the coherence of neurons, we are discovering something. For example, Poincaré, when he was in Bath, Poincaré was a famous geometrician. He discovered, not discovered, he found a solution of a theorem. It was like a spark. Apart from induction and deduction, there is also this type of quote-unquote abduction. It was used by some philosophers of sciences. They called it abduction. In Sanskrit, it may be called as force, photo, spark, to bloom. Any other question?
The question I have.
It's a lengthy question.
I'm reading it out for you, sir. Sir, how would a person understand that he or she is capable enough to initiate a research? Basically, a question is that uh, how would a person understand that he or she is capable of research? Does writing multiple term papers or going through enough research books can a person gain that level of intellect for research? Basically, how would I understand that whether I'm capable of initiating a research or not? That means,
We are all of us, all Homo sapiens, um, capable of researching something and how to understand it. Uh, when uh, I will find a problem question, and I am repeating it. Earlier, I have said it. When I'll find a new or a novel problem question or a hypothesis, that is the moment I am confident enough. I will be confident enough that I can perform. I use the word perform a research work. It's a performance. eh? And you can understand easily. Search it in Google. Whether your question was addressed or you are deploying a method, that method was deployed by other person or it's a new method, or your answer is different from earlier scholars. That is that is important. You have to find out yourself that your problem question, number one, your problem question or hypothesis, or the domain of research is offering something new which was not addressed by anyone before you. This is, and everyone is capable of researching because we have the innate faculty to create infinite sets of sentences out of finite sets of words. So, as a Homo sapiens, anyone can perform research work. So, there is no problem. For self understanding, introspect yourself. Is it a new problem or it's a mundane question? It's a repetitive question. In fact, we are accumulating our knowledge from our society and we are putting copyright on it, individual copyright on it. So it's not your duty to reproducing your cultural capital. Cultural capital means which you have already accumulated from your society. Just not repetition won't work. Don't repeat. Try to create. Creating creating infinite sets of sentences out of finite sets of words is our creativity. It is Homo sapiens' creativity. So we are all creative. Creativity is crippled or disrupted by the outside sociality. And when we are accumulating knowledge from our society, please question each and every step, every ritualistic performance. Ritualistic performance means repeating something which have been done by other. Don't repeat. Just ask question. Jijjasa. That is important. Poriprashna. That is important. Asking question. When you are capable of asking question, you must have enough confidence to perform a research. Please remember this word perform. It is a performance. Any other questions?
So I'm reading out here, sir. Sir, if we talk about human crises, can we consider the past sufferings of the human beings, or it has to be connected with the present problems of humans, may it be psychological or physical?
I must answer this first. And regarding past and present, I use the word the consequences of anthropogenic global heating. I am now suffering for my past. What have been done by industrial revolution, the consequences of industrial revolution. My suffering is caused by that. Both psychologically, I am sick. I am living within a sick society, and that sick society is constructed diachronically, means historically constructed society. So that sick society, if we have to refute or negate that sick society, what should be done? What is our duties, the do's and don'ts? This I have to learn. It is not only past or a question of past or present. It is continuous flow of suffering. I am returning to 2,500 years ago when Buddha, Tathagata Buddha, he emphasized on the human suffering only. If you just browse his Ashtangika Marga or four Arya Sattas, you'll find that the first proposition is there is suffering. There are sufferings. So if there is suffering, suffering is age-old issue. Without suffering, we can't live. But how to solve this suffering? He posed the problem within four Arya Satya, and he solved this problem with Ashtangika Margo, eight path, eightfold ways to solve this problem. So this type of things are there. So it is not a question of past, present, or future. Suffering is there. The thing is that how am I engaging myself with this suffering in my research work, in my performance? That is far more important. Uh, Mr. Maji, is there any other question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is question. How shall we prepare the abstract for research?
Oh, abstract or synopsis. The standard practice is that within 3,000 words you have to write your abstract. Uh, After completing first three steps, that is um, the posing the problem, it must be in abstract within one or two paragraphs. Next thing is the literature survey. The works you are refuting or accepting is a second part, that is literature survey. And third part is the methodological tools. It must be there in abstract or in a synopsis. Within 3,000 words, you have to write it. There are different norms. I am talking about the standard practice. And this, after completing this third step, literature survey and methodological tools, you have to mention your methodology, your method of deciphering your problem or solving your problem. And last of all, you have to write chapterization. The first chapter will be on the problems, literature survey, method, and a standard conclusion. Second chapter onwards, you have to discuss in different paragraphs, second, third, fourth, or fifth chapters. So synopsis of all this chapter we need in an abstract or is in a synopsis. It is better to call synopsis. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's quite a
It's
long
quite
question.
a
I'm
long
reading out
question.
for
I'm
you.
running out for you.
As a linguist, what do you think about the documentation of endangered languages? Is it really helping in reducing the sufferings of humanity? Mere descriptive projection of data and making a grammar with a specific framework is it really helpful? What's your message for future language researchers?
This question in a Swedish seminar. Uh, and the name of the paper, you will find it. I'll put the URL in the comment box after finishing this session. Anthropogenic global heating and the condition of human speaking subject. As far as I remember, this was the title. In that case, my only proposition is that I have started that paper with this proposition that when human being itself is endangered, why are you collecting data from those languages, those quote unquote endangered languages? Endangered languages, why are you collecting data? This collection of data, it is totally an endeavor from the military linguistics. They are collecting data for manufacturing cryptic languages. These unknown languages are used for making cryptic languages. So this type of data collection is contributing in death industry. Death industry means the militant state-sponsored terrorism. So I am not for collecting this type of data. I think human being itself, along with a non-human being, flora, fauna, all things, megaflora or microfauna, megaflora or microflora, all are endangered. At this time, we can't spare it to collect data and grammatical analysis, fragmenting languages in different parts. As a linguist, I am not encouraging this type of endeavor just now. We have to do many other things. We have to arrange it according to our priority. Okay, my answer will be lengthy, but I'll give the URL of that paper after finishing this session. It will answer your question. It is totally this corpus linguistics, collecting data. Anyone can do it. You don't have the knowledge of linguistics for performing this type of act. It is a clerical job, collecting data. Nothing more than that. So I am calling it not a corpus linguistics, but a corpse linguistics. It is helpful for militant society, not for free and just society. That's my personal view. It's a very good question, and it needs a separate attention, and I will link the answer for this. I'll give you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, as sir stated that, the sir will upload that paper over there, so you can just go through the paper. So that paper will help you get your answer which you are looking for right now. Because in this session, it's impossible for him to give a very lengthy answer. So thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful engaging session, and you have given your precious time. And we do hope that next time, whenever we will invite you, we will get you, sir. So. Uh, Thank you once again.
Thank you once
This
again.
thanks is
This time
very
is
insignificant word
very insignificant what
conveyed to you,
convey to
what
you,
we are feeling right
what
now,
we are feeling right
and
now,
for
and
helping us
for helping us
realize how to
realize
initiate.
how to initiate. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you,
I'm
sir.
removing
Sir,
you
I'm
from the
removing you
screen.
from the screen. Okay.
So thank you, viewers, for watching this very engaging entertaining session, and I hope that this wonderful and insightful lecture will definitely help all the new researchers uh, to initiate their research. And the very important thing that I must convey to all of you, that this is not our next session we have on 16th August at 7 p.m. In that session, we're going to get a very special eminent speaker. That's she is Dr. Ajunta Paul, and she is principal as well as professor in English from Calcutta. From Christian Women Christian College, Women Christian College, Kolkata, and for the other participants who have registered to receive a certificate also for this session and other session already held. For you, I'm telling you that as we have been organizing this session at quite regular interval, so it's very difficult for us to issue a certificate in due course of time. So please bear with us. Definitely, whoever registered and whoever submitted the feedback form properly, definitely will receive certificate. Don't worry about that. Certificate is mere thing. I think that you will also agree with me. So don't worry about certificate. Definitely certificate will be distributed to you. So as I already mentioned that on 16th August, there is another session. So if you want to get that, you have to tune into our page on that particular day at 7 p.m. And to all of you, I'd like to wish Happy Independence Day in advance. Thank you very much. Good night. Stay safe. Stay protected.